its oil production was disrupted, and that accounts for 5% of the world's daily oil supply. So as Saudi Arabia rushes to repair the damaged plants, investors want to see if and how this affects oil prices worldwide. They've been relatively low for months, but could go up significantly because of this. So who did it? Houthi rebels in neighboring Yemen say they did. They've been fighting for control of Yemen in that nation's civil war. But Saudi Arabia, which supports Yemen's government, has been leading an international fight against the Houthi rebels. So the Houthis say they attacked Saudi Arabia's oil facilities in response. But not everyone's convinced. The U.S. government blames Iran for planning the attack, calling it an assault on the world's energy supply. Iran does support Yemen's Houthi rebels, but the country says it wasn't involved in the Saudi oil attack and called the U.S. accusation meaningless. Tensions have been soaring between America and Iran since last year, when the U.S. pulled out of a controversial nuclear deal with the Middle Eastern nation. So as investors watch oil prices, Saudi Arabia works to repair its facilities, and the U.S. and Iran bristle at each other, international politics are among the cast of tensions on the world stage.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United States are two unexpected allies. One's an autocracy, the other a democracy. There are many differences between the two, but one thing they have in common is that each country has what the other wants. Saudi Arabia has oil and the United States has arms. To understand how reciprocal the relationship is, we need to go back to how it started. Saudi Arabia as we know it was founded in 1932 by King Abdulaziz. A few years later, oil was struck and American companies, sensing an opportunity, moved in.
It was a relationship which was based on a company, Standard Oil, in the name of the US government trying to look for access to oil resources.
This picture shows where the relationship crystallized. This was Saudi Arabia's founder, King Abdulaziz, meeting US President Franklin Roosevelt on the USS Quincy on the Suez Canal in 1945.
The United States wanted to have a secure access to the oil resources, and at the same time they would provide the Saudi Kingdom with access to arms and obviously provide protection.
As the years passed, the relationship strengthened. Standard Oil founded Aramco, the Arabian-American oil company which controlled every oil well and barrel in the country. And as the oil flowed into the US, American-made arms flowed into the kingdom. Between 1950 and 2017, Saudi Arabia bought more than $100 billion worth of arms from the US, making the kingdom the country's biggest customer.
Can you hear me when I talk?
Its relationship so strong that even when Saudi Arabia and the US arms continued to flow.
Okay, how is my volume?
For example, in 1973 and the start of the Yom Kippur War, Egypt and Syria launched a surprise offensive against Israel. The US responded supporting Israel, which Saudi opposed. The kingdom and its OPEC allies responded by setting an oil embargo, reducing production and significantly impacting the US economy. But there was no slowdown in arms sales.
If we look at the actual figures of arms supplies to Saudi Arabia from the US, we do see that that was around the time, but we see a very significant increase in those arms supplies, which then continued over the decades. And part of this may also be related to the fact that that really was the moment that oil prices really increased very rapidly.
Even 9/11, where 15 out of the 19 attackers were Saudi, did little to rattle the arms relationship with the kingdom, which has denied any involvement in the attacks.
Around 2005, there was a dip in the volume of the deliveries of weapons from the US to Saudi Arabia, but I think that didn't necessarily have to do with 9/11. I think it had more to do with the fact that Saudi Arabia didn't have the best financial conditions at that time, and that it had already stocked up on a large quantity of advanced arms.
I hear you.
And
that's why I rushed in here. First thing. You should be all set to come on.